YouTube. Fantastic. Okay, welcome everyone to Office Hours with Stitchcraft Marketing. This is just like a little mini bite-sized lesson that we like to do. And it's about all sorts of different things that can help you and your business marketing. We are a full service agency and we like to do all the things. So today we're going to talk about pre-sales, and it's the perfect season for it. We are at my goodness, the middle of October, and we are fully into the holiday season. So what can we do with pre-sales? So what are pre-sales? Just in general, it's anything that you can purchase, get your customers to purchase before it's officially available. So you can use it to create the allure of being the first. It's exclusive. We always like those things that are exclusive, right? It makes it seem more valuable. Is, anything that's limited edition of only this number, that sort of stuff is like, ooh, it's special because there's not that many. So you can also use it for in general product launches, a pre-sale. You can use it for, I have a new line of fabric and I'm going to get a pre-sale. We're going to take pre-sales for a certain number of this class that I know is going to sell out. We have this exclusive yarn. 'Tis the season for advent calendars. We're only doing so many of those. All of that stuff. Special editions, so advent calendars, special yarn, indie dyers, sorts of things. Exclusive packages. Why do we care about pre-sales? They will increase your profits, and we like that because you can do a special limited edition runs, and you create that let's call it FOMO. We don't want we want people to have that sort of little, I need to do this right now. And so however you're going to go about your pre-sale to make it exclusive, to make it a better deal, so you can boost your revenue. So it's like you get that little extra push depending on how you do it. If you're creating a specific new yarn line, if you're creating a new special gift, a pre-sale can fund the end of your product development. You can fine tune your product. As like before you do a full scale launch, you can use your pre-sale to figure out your messaging. What's working well, what's not working, what resonated, what does your customer value? Is doing the pre-sale good? Do I need to do this as a bigger launch? Or did this, flop? Things happen. Did it flop? And you're like, okay, I need to pull back on what I was going to do for the big version of this. Increase profit margins. So pre-sales are generally less, I'm not going to say less work. They're a different kind of work. And so you don't have as much of, I would say some of the in-person stuff and a lot of the hands-on things that you do for a bigger launch or a bigger event. So you can increase those margins because you don't have the other hours and the other man hours put in on the back end of things. So again, the benefits of hosting a pre-sale. I love that picture. It was just too funny. I couldn't not have it, you guys. So demand forecasting. So I talked about this a little bit. So when you have an idea, and we all get in our own heads with, getting excited about something, or maybe we have a really good sales rep, or maybe, there's something that, I will always buy that line of teal fabric from this designer over here, but maybe it's not going to work as well in the shop. So you can use this as demand forecasting for, is that thing that I thought was really cool, is that notion going to work? Is this class going to fill up? So you can use it to better manage your store and your offerings, your inventory. You can build the hype. That's always fun. It's like we want people to get excited. My big thing whenever I do anything is that selling doesn't sell, but excitement does. So if you can get people excited, and if it's, again, back to that exclusivity and anticipation and that, ooh, the warm butterflies, the warm fuzzies about I'm getting this special thing, building that hype is going to get you that pre-sale, that word of mouth marketing, which is the best kind of marketing. And then cash flow. We are businesses. That money is the dirty little secret that makes it all go round. We know. It will get you, pre-sales will get you money. And it will, especially for things like if you wanted to do a bigger version of the line, say you got a line and you got the 10-yard bolts or the half of it, and it goes really well, then you can get 15-yard bolts, and we're going to get the full 25, 40 pieces of line instead of I'm just picking my favorite 4. Like you are able to expand what you're offering with a better cash flow. So what were we going to do? For the general strategy, we've got exclusivity, We've got timing that we need to think about with pre-sales. We've got what are our marketing efforts going to be? Feedback. This is important. And communication. So when we're talking about a pre-sale, exclusive. So some of the things that we want to incentivize them to purchase now. Why should they get this now as opposed to waiting when you have it all in stock? Why should they give you money now and not get anything in return? Because generally for a pre-sale, they're not going to get it like right away. They're putting confidence in you that you are going to deliver something that you don't have in your hands yet. So why should they do that? You have to give them a reason. It doesn't have to be a discount. It can. Discount can be a 4-letter word. We don't want to take cash out of your pockets. It can be, again, first dibs. It can be other opportunities. It can be something as simple as free shipping, which I know is costlier, but pushing that in there, that's an incentive. You don't have to think as big. You don't have to give away the store, but you do need to give them something in return in order to get the sale. So, for some things, like if you buy, okay, I buy, I'm getting a new a shipment of hedgehog fibers in. I'm getting hedgehog in, and I know that I only have, a box full of skeins. That's 5-6 sweaters worth, overall, and lots of shawls and stuff like that. If you want to reserve those skeins now, you have to do it now because I'm on their wait list and I won't get skeins again for another 6 months. I was like, even just having the exclusivity of not being able to get it, I can't reorder this fabric line. They're doing one printing and I can't order it again. I was like, you have to order this now. I won't be able to get it again. Having that in there, you don't have to give anything away. It can just be the opportunity to buy. If it's something that that you are going to not be able to get again, if it's something that you consistently know you sell out of, that's an exclusivity thing. That's an incentive to purchase. Limited time frame. Pre-sales can't run for forever. You need to have a time frame. You need to stick to it. So when you set up your pre-sale strategy, when you're looking at your overall thing of I need to order by this date, I will have it by this date, I need to have cash in hand by this date. When you plan all that out, because we always plan everything, right? We're never just flying by the seat of our pants. I never do that. So when we coming up with our time frame, you need to have an end time for the pre-sales to stop. It can be right up into a full launch. It can be a time before then, but you cannot run your pre-sale at the same time you are running your full-on selling of the product because you're defeating the whole purpose. It's like you have to have a time to stop. So that's also going to create that urgency because they can't just do it for forever. So make sure you have a stop point. Make sure you clearly communicate what that stopping point is for the pre-sale. Marketing, you got to tell people about it. Most of marketing is communication. I was like, I have all this cool stuff. Why is no one coming and getting my cool stuff? You didn't tell anyone. You have to communicate. You have to tell them, whether that's email, social media, signs on the door. You have to communicate. It's going to be even better if it's branded communication with your stuff on it. It's going to be even better if it sounds like you. All of that stuff is good, but you have to tell them. The other part you need, we talked about this before, feedback loop. So you need to use it to collect data. So what went well with a pre-sale? What didn't go well? What can we do to adjust our product launch, like our full-on product launch event for the next time, adjust our pre-sale for the next time? You need to have a way to measure what went well and what didn't. And then communication. Again, this is back to we are asking for the sale before we are able to give them product. So you need to be very clear about what those timetables are, about how you will communicate with them that their product is in. You need to be clear about what that process looks like, how it will ship out to them, when it will, if they're on a special email list, anything like that. So you just need to be very clear about it, because that'll alleviate any of those, hurt feelings. I thought I was getting this right now, all of that stuff. We just make sure we communicate. So when you're talking about a pre-sale. Is this something your market actually likes? Like, again, this goes back to, we think it's really cool, but do you know who your customer is? Do they think it's really cool? Is it something that, on the flip side of this, is like being in the businesses that we're in and being around for a while, we are the experts in our fields. We need to make sure that we are talking and finding pre-sales and finding product launches for our customer, who is not necessarily the expert. So what pre-sale, when you do a pre-sale, make sure you're using the language that talks to any of these things for your customer. What pain points does your customer have? How is this pre-sale going to help their pain points? Do you know that you have this sort of customer that, I love Cafe, I will always buy Cafe. That's a characteristic. How does that help your customer? Make sure you are talking, whatever your pre-sale is, you have a point that goes back to your customer, your avatar, and you are talking to something that they value. We're setting goals. Okay, we talked about this. We can't just go with a feeling. We need to have measurable goals for a pre-sale. This is the same stuff that we talk about on a bigger scale for a launch. So if a pre-sale is you want to have something, whether that's, I want to sell this many units, I want to buy this date, I want to increase website traffic, I want to increase, have this many class signups by this date. What are your goals for that pre-sale that are measurable, that are concrete? Make sure you have them written down and make sure they relate to what you're actually doing. So if you're running a pre-sale and you're like, I want to increase foot traffic, those may not be the same thing. If you're running your pre-sale event mostly online or social media or email marketing, and you're like, I want to increase foot traffic on these dates with this pre-sale, that's not going to help you. Make sure your goals are aligned with what you're actually selling or what event you're putting together. Okay. Timeline. Again, this thing can't run for forever. So if you know, I'm going to get this delivery at the end of November, I'm going to have it ready for Black Friday. I'm going to do a Black Friday launch. We're going to have a pre-sale stuff for Black Friday. Black Fridays are cut off and then our holiday season starts. You need to have that timeline and work from whatever date, either forwards or backwards, for your cutoff point about what needs to happen. Also, your budget is not only money, your budget is your time. So you can't just blow the budget. You can't blow your time on, I'm going to spend all this time doing this. You have other stuff that needs to happen too. So not only budget your resources for your money, but you've got your time, you've got your what is it? Time, talent, and treasure. I was like, you can't just put all of your stuff in this one thing. You have to budget accordingly. And then KPIs. So if your objective is, I want to sell this many, then how many is that actual number? Put it down in numbers. Something, again, you can measure. So let's talk a little bit about email marketing. And this is more general overview that is best practices, but in particular for pre-sales. If you have, again, we're trying to talk to our customer avatar, right? We are talking to our customer. So hopefully that means we have an email list, and hopefully we have it segmented at least a little bit. So we want to give them the best information first, that exclusivity that will also draw people. It's like, sign up for our newsletter because you get the first deal, you get the first chance to do whatever it is. So try and do targeted email campaigns. We do something here at Stitchcraft with some of our clients where we do these analyses of, their email lists and different sales things, and we come up with targeted email campaigns. If you have that capability, either through us as an agency or, internally, try and target your customer. As like we talked about what their pain points are. If your pain point is, or I know I always have to take my sewing machine in to be serviced, then look at those lists of people that have had their machine serviced in the past 2 years. Like that, try and figure out from your list who your customers are going to be. Offer them first dibs. And then personalized email messaging. This is one of those things, that if you're not doing it, you should, and it should be fairly easy to implement. Most of the time, all of the it's one of those best practices. It creates engagement. I forget what they call it in MailChimp, but it's that special field. So when you fill out an email thing and you put like, this is my name, this is my email address, it automatically fills out your name in your email. So just make sure you have that turned on. People, you hear your name louder than you hear other words. The same thing is true with reading. If you're reading through, skimming through something and you see your name, you stop. Our goal with anything is to slow the scroll, right? We want them to stop and pay attention. So anytime you can get their name involved in there, it's going to catch their eye. It's going to make them pause. And then automation. So you can set up something. This is a pre-sale, so they don't have stuff, right? If you can set up an automation and have this ready, so this can be a one and done thing, or at least a templated thing. I love templates. Templates are great. Where you have your sort of flow, your automation for, you've purchased the pre-sale. Yay. The pre-sale is now in the shop. We're getting your order ready. Your order is shipping now. If you can create that automation to send reminders and to keep them updated, so that way you get the email list of everyone who has ordered whatever new sweater kit that you're selling. They've been waiting on this for 3 months, and it's here, you have it, it's great. Have that email list, have an automation set up so that you can just press the button for each time you have those things going. That way you're not sending out specific emails. That way you can have this ready beforehand. And hopefully if you have an automation set up, you can just sort of clone it for the next time you do this, because it's going to be so successful and you're going to be rolling in all that extra cash from the pre-sale that you're going to want to replicate it and do it again. Okay, so here's something that Leanne says all the time. Leanne is the founder and owner of Stitchcraft. Tell them you're going to tell them. So it's a pre-sale. Tell them when the pre-sale is going to start. Tell them the pre-sale is happening now. Tell them that the pre-sale is happening now. Tell them you told them. It's an end date. If someone contacts you and says that, oh, hey, I missed out, you're like, yeah, you did, but make sure you're on our list for the next one. You gotta hold that boundary. Unless they're your whale, but we all know we have those customers that we can't do that with. Tell them you're going to tell them. Tell them you told them. Make sure you're clear with communication at all times. Make sure you tell them that they missed out. It'll be okay. That'll increase that exclusivity and hype for the next time. So let's talk about aftercare. Now this is a little bit different. I think people get to, with any sort of launch, whether it's a pre-sale launch or a full-on marketing product launch with all the different things that go with it, you think, okay, the product is out in the world and I'm done. No, you're not. You have another step to do. You have to evaluate. And I'm putting aftercare as the big umbrella term for all the stuff that you need to do to look at your launch after your pre-sale, after you're done. So you can use surveys or feedback forms. It's very easy to just create, even a Google form and create a survey for like, hey, what did you like? What did you not like? That's an easy thing to do. You can get more complicated if you want to. Again, we are taking their information, we are taking their pre-sale without giving them product. Make sure after we've got the pre-sale done that you are responding to their questions. If they're asking, hey, where's my stuff? I thought I was going to be here in time. Make sure you don't ignore them. I was like, we have all been on the bad end of supply chain management for the past couple of years. It was like, we need to be very clear about what is here, what is happening, what is not. If someone has a concern, it's because they've been burned in the past too. So make sure that you respond to it and respond professionally. Don't snap. It was like, better said than done going into the holidays, but make sure you respond appropriately. And again, this goes back to tell them you told them. It's okay to say sorry you missed it. It was like, we are creating that exclusivity. We are creating the value of only having it for a short amount of time, or only a certain number, however you want to measure it. So don't be afraid to say no. And then you can also utilize either the survey, the automation that we talked about for email marketing. You can have a point in there where you give them an option to expand, upgrade, add on, however you want to do it. So if they bought a fat quarter bundle and they got it early, then say, hey, we have this new line in. If you need extra yardage, come in now, it's in the shop. Look at our beautiful new display. We have this new patterns in that would be great with this fabric line. Those would all be upsales, add-ons, however you want to put it, but give them, you can have that as part of your automation. You can have that as part of your point of contact. Any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing and stop recording for a second. Maybe we'll get questions then. Thank you. We'll stop sharing.